Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Today, please mute your speaker. Some of you didn't mute, so let's see. Yeah, today we continue our discussions on MapReduce and Hadoop ecosystem. So, also again, I wanted to have another lab because here you learn some installations that might help you in future. Just live transcript. Okay. Also, some of you had some issues in the previous installation. So this is another way that you can have Hadoop on your system. You directly install Hadoop on your system instead of using Ambari. Just as a review, so in the previous lab that was offline or asynchronous, and again, I'm sorry because you had to install some platforms like pip install Python. So without that, we couldn't have previous class. So it's the reason I recorded and posted for you because we didn't have, unfortunately, we didn't have a stable internet. So anyway, you have learned that instead of using some intermediary software like what is provided through Ambari. So through Ambari, you can do some data management and some queries using something similar to SQL codes that we're going to cover later. But I think it was one of your friends' questions, Kirti, I guess. So what if we do everything from scratch? So in the previous lab, I did MapReduce using Python. There's other languages you can use, especially Java is the base, which is the base of Hadoop ecosystem. You can do it through Java, but anyway, so we have seen that for doing a very simple query, it takes a lot of time and effort if you want to do everything from scratch. So I look at like distribution of ratings, how many people rated different movies, so on and so forth, and you had an assignment. So also keep in mind that if you copy and paste some codes from this PowerPoint, you might get some errors because there might be some font issues. For example, look at the slash before R, it should be a small one. If you copy and paste this code, you get error. So for that, I posted a unformatted text. So if I go to previous lab, what's materials? So this is codes.txt. So if you copy and paste from here, you shouldn't get any error. Also, to the previous lab, I show you how to do MapReduce using Python directly on your system or using Hadoop ecosystem. You have seen that using Hadoop, it takes much longer. The reason Hadoop is efficient for very large data sets. So if you have a very huge data set, it makes sense to use Hadoop. But if your data set is like, I'm just saying a number, let's say less than 2 gigabytes, 3 gigabytes, doesn't make sense to use the Hadoop ecosystem. But for a very large data sets, it's much more efficient than just using simple Python through a standalone system. Okay, so for also I taught you some tricks how to just work with change your characters to numerical values for Python or MapReduce. It's not the only ways, as I think I told you guys in the video. So, for example, later for your assignment, I think that it's in the previous lab. But for example, instead of using just padding, you can use int, which is a Python function, so you can convert it to a numerical value. Any question from previous lab or the assignment? People over Zoom, you could also use your mic or text me so I can see yours. What's that? So for the assignment that I posted, let me just go over assignment right before. Okay, so yeah, for this assignment, you don't have to follow what I said. You can do in any creative way that you think makes more sense for you. That you are totally welcome. I just need to want to see you be able to get something like this, getting the average of the ratings by people and finding the top nicest people. So you don't have to report 5 of them. You can just report all of them and just pick 5 and type in manually. Or you can do some calculation manually. You don't have to make 1 code. You can use 2 codes, 3 Python codes. That's totally fine. Also, anyone notice the Python code that I showed you in the previous lab looks a little weird? So, for example, what makes what is weird for you? It's some aspects family, some aspects not, because Horton Sandbox support Python 2.7, so the code is a little different from Python 3 that you learn in the school. So if you want, for your assignment, if you want to search for, let's say, for how to change to integer or how to do division, just keep in mind, search for Python 2 codes, not Python 3. So you might see some differences. The reason we have to use a free dashboard, which and the Ambody was available, and Ambody is very good with Python 2, not 3. Also, the codes are pretty much similar. There might be just some changes, but definitely there is some differences between Python 2 and Python 3. So from people in the class, because for Zoom it's hard to see, how many of you had issues in installing Python in virtual Ambody, VirtualBox, Hortons, whatever? You? Yeah.
It was not Python, but the password change error.
Okay. I hope the remaining at least try. So when you don't put your hands up, I'm not sure you could be successful, or even you haven't tried. But okay, please. Maybe I think I answered one of your friends. So you can try VMware. I think if you get any error, because I check in different windows in 2 different systems, I assume might be some internal thing you have installed in your system, or maybe your system RAM is too low, or any other random issues. Maybe you can see me in my next office hours, because it might take a lot of time. But before that, please try VMware to see if it helps or not. Besides, today you learned to how to do local installation of Hadoop ecosystem. So maybe you can try to install Python in this one and just substitute your previous assignment. So in previous assignment, you try to install Python within Ambody ecosystem or Ambody dashboard. Instead, you can install it for this, and you can just substitute that to assignment. So for your previous assignment, you can show that you have Python within a local instance of your Hadoop. But I know sometimes it's very challenging, especially even one little mistake could give you unknown errors and just you stuck forever. So that's especially for today. Please exactly follow what I'm telling you. Even if you do a minor change, you might get some errors, especially your Hadoop maybe shuts down. And so more specifically for the local installation of Hadoop, you see so many tutorials, and they don't give you all the background. So they give you a good part of it, but they don't show you everything. So when you follow those tutorials online, you might end up stuck in so many errors. Okay, so today again we have another installation, because later in the course you might just go back and forth. So hopefully, if you learn by now, you won't stuck in future, because I assume like in few weeks your exams coming up. So hopefully before you don't have any exam in my class, but for your other courses, I don't want you stuck just installing a software while you have some assignments. Any questions so far? Okay, so please always check your syllabus. So today is September 8th, you have 8 days. But maybe I assume since most of you analytics a student, you know which kind of data set you should look for. And if it's like other courses, that's fine. But anyway, it's still fine. So maybe please don't miss the first due date. Even if you change your database and problem statement, that's fine. So maybe for your next submission, you change everything, but you shouldn't miss the first assignment, first due date. Even so, don't miss first two due dates. Even for the last one, maybe you changed your project completely. But this, I want to see that you have submissions for the first two part of your projects or not. But anyway, no worries if you're stuck many times. It's a part of your learning, and I know that happens. So since I already know it might happen, so no worries. I mean, I don't want you guys to miss any grade because of your PC issues or some platform issues. So don't be under pressure of why you couldn't install, and why is that, why like this. Probably if you follow my instructions, you shouldn't see any problem. If you see, it's not your fault. Also, for your group project, I think I put a limitation. So let me don't. So I think number of. I couldn't find the paragraph. One part of your. Okay, I think for extra people in your group, I said you should have 2 different submissions. So let's say you want to have extra people in your group. So if you want to have extra people, you should be able to run your codes in 2 different platforms. Maybe one platform is just the local installation of Hadoop ecosystem on your system. Other one could be Amazon AWS or Databricks or other platforms. So if you follow the group caps, you don't have to run your codes in multiple platforms. Just one is enough. If you have multiple people in your group, you need to run your codes in different platforms, and one could be a local instance of Hadoop ecosystem. Okay. So these are the main programs or platforms you need to have on your system. And again, these are for Windows users. Hopefully, I think for the Mac users might be somehow easier in some aspects, but since I don't have a Mac, so I think you don't have to. Let's see. Maybe you can Google it, but if you have Mac user and you have issues, just let me know. Some steps should be a little different for you guys. Okay, so let me go over steps. you can do some of them while today, but I'm pretty sure you cannot finish today. But it's the reason I think for this summer I give you like 3 weeks, and in maybe next classes I review some parts of it. So first of all, your the local installation of Hadoop is over Java language. So basically, Hadoop is made by developing Java, and also there is some other languages, but again, the base is Java. So you should, first of all, don't forget, you should remove all previous installation of Java in your system. The reason I'm using Hadoop 3.3.0. If you use the latest version of Java, it might have some discrepancy because Hadoop doesn't support all the Java versions. For some Java versions, you might end up having some errors. So remove that. Also in your C drive, have these 2 folders. One of them is Java Development Kit or Java JDK, and another one JRE. Later, I show you how to install Java Development Kit and runtime. Install C++, and you should have some software that unzip your file. So it could be the WinRAR, 7-zip, and there's much more other softwares. And okay, so before that, let me just show you what happens. So the base is Hadoop file system, HDFS, and YARN just basically is mounted on top of HDFS, and it just manages resources and data processing units. Before using YARN, you might see in the previous lab, so you connected through Python, you connected to HDFS or Hadoop file system, and you did MapReduce manually. Now we want to use something that makes our life much easier. One is YARN. Basically, YARN comes on top of Hadoop file system or HDFS and manage those MapReduces for ourselves. So hopefully with YARN, you don't have to code MapReduce by yourself. Also, later, you would learn Uzi, Pig, Mahout, and some other language, Hive, Spark, Scoop. So all of them are built over YARN. So basically, YARN is intermediary software. For example, so how many of you remember SQL? Have you had? Pretty sure you had SQL before. So let's say you want to do a query. Okay. So your SQL. So you have something similar in Hadoop ecosystem. Let's say you do some query through Peak. Let's say some equivalent, not exactly, but some. Let's say SQL is somehow equivalent to Peak. So you type code in your Peak. Peak for that, maybe Peak needs to do some MapReduce because, again, the MapReduce, just as a review, is a methodology of Hadoop ecosystem. It just means how you connect to several parallel resources and run your codes and get the results back. So in previous lab, we had for example, we look over movie ratings. So we had some virtual resources that we connect. So again, MapReduce just means connecting to several resources in parallel and run your process on multiple nodes and just then reducing into report and get the result. So you type your codes in Peak for query. Peak connects to YARN. YARN does the MapReduce over HDFS, sends result to the Peak, and you see your query over Peak. And something similar in other resources. So later, for doing anything in Hadoop ecosystem, you need to have HDFS, first layer, second layer YARN, and on top of YARN, you have some applications like Peak, which is kind of somewhat similar to SQL. what I'm saying it's similar. It's basic technology is very different, but it might be a headache if you learn query language in Hadoop ecosystem. So people invented some tools similar to the tools that you have learned. For example, if you already learned SQL, you can easily code in Pig because they made Pig in the way that is easy for people who knows SQL. So again, first layer is Pig. You type your code. Pig connects to YARN. YARN manages MapReduce over HDFS. Get the results, and you see the results through all these steps. So does YARN make sense for you now? So why we need YARN? Yeah, I mean, again, if you haven't done the previous assignment or haven't watched the video, please see that. You would see that if you want to do MapReduce, it's really headache. It takes a lot of time and effort, and sometimes you need some creativity. But we want to make everything more streamlined. So it's the reason we have such an ecosystem. Okay, let me wait 1 or 2 minutes for you and people over Zoom to see if anyone has a question. Then I go to the next step. And sorry, I need to stop because I don't see the faces over Zoom, so they might have some question. For whom who are in class or Zoom, maybe what can you do from now while I'm teaching? Maybe you can uninstall your Java version. So what you can do, go to add remove programs in Windows. Here, if you search, I have 2 instances of Java. So you can click on it, press uninstall, and just get rid of these 2. Pardon me? Both. You cannot finish by today's class, but that is, you can follow some steps. So if you have seen any problems, I can check it with you guys. Okay. So as I said, Hadoop ecosystem is built over Java language. You might learn other languages too, but basically the core of all of them is Java. So look at here, I went to, if you click on this link, let's see. I installed it today, so hopefully there is no issue. But if you want to install in future, just keep in mind, I use the version 8U301. So I assume most of you has a 64 system. If you have a very old PC, you have 86. But just click on it, receive, click on download. It might ask you to make an account here. So I already have an account, otherwise you create an account, but you sign in, and after you sign in, the file would be downloaded here. Here I wait a couple of minutes because some people maybe wants to create an account and download it. It might take like a few minutes. Again, no worries if you end up issues, you can ask me later, but at least I want to cover some issues in the class. So after I click on 8U301 Windows x64.exe, I end up seeing that page for just asking me if I reviewed it, which I said yes, and now it's downloading. But if it's your first time, it asks you to create an account and just sign in. So later you can download. So I also recommend to use x64 by assume because your laptop shouldn't be like more than 5 years old. So most likely all of you are in x64 version. So if you want to watch some online YouTube videos, just keep in mind, sometimes their Hadoop version and Java version are not compatible. So it might give you some errors when you install Hadoop. For me, I mean, Hadoop 3.3.0 is compatible with Java 8 U301 Windows x64. But it's not the latest version of Java. If you look at top here, it's for 2019. It was somewhere. Is that? Let me search for it. 2000. Yeah, it's for April 16, 2019. I arbitrarily didn't use the latest version because compatibility issues. So when you want to install it, just keep in mind, please don't install it, just download it. So keep in mind, we want to install Java Development Kit into Java JDK on the C and Java Runtime on Java JRE. The reason later I want to tell Hadoop, this is the address of my Java instance. So what can you do? After you click on install, you see, I'm not sure if you could see. So let me just make it larger. So this is the default address, C program files, JD, whatever. Just press change here and change it to this address. C Java JDK. The remaining is just next, 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 next. But later, almost at the end of installation, it asks you for JRE, Java Runtime. As you see, the default is program file, Java JRE 8, whatever, 2.1. I also change it to Java JRE. So again, after you download Java SE JDK, JDK-8U201, it asks you twice for the location that you want to install your Java JDK and Java JRE. Just change it to these two folders. If you don't do that, later Hadoop cannot find Java because in some places I tell Hadoop this is the location that we can see Java. Any questions so far? So what we did so far, we did very base of Hadoop ecosystem. First, we made our Java platform. On top of Java, now we do Hadoop file system or HDFS. So intuitively, okay, again, before that, you should install Visual C++. Here I put the link. So when you click on this link, again, still I install this version, 64. So do you guys follow the installation with me, or you want to install later? How many you are trying to install in the class? Okay, cool. So far, download Java, change installing the specific folders. Also install Visual C++ everywhere that you want. Just put using the default. Yes. Your computer is not working well?
I was used to do things in my other computers. Computer is not working.
Oh, you want just the PowerPoint. It's not your main system yet. Oh, that's fine. So the people who follows the installation, probably they figure out how to install. Then we can help your friends over Telegram and get some bonus. But again, you don't have to install in the class.
If I cannot find Java, they are folder, so should I make a new folder?
In the one step, I told you to make a folder, but if you cannot, just make me.
Also, I just make a new one.
It just make it Java. And make it in the C.
Oh, okay.
I think the right version. Oh, it's all down. Installations. Visual Studio. Yeah. Oh, Visual Studio was because yeah, Microsoft on Windows. Yeah. What is the story?
Just search Visual C++ for Mac. So if you're a Mac user, maybe instead of, this is for, Windows Visual C++, maybe you can find a Mac version of it. Okay, now we have the base, which is Java. Now you can download this Hadoop instance. So we are using Hadoop 3.3.0. This is a very stable version of Hadoop. And just click on download tar GZ. So if you click on it, it might take a little bit. So it's about 400, 500 megabytes. I'm not sure if you are able to download it, but you.
Which one?
So in your PowerPoint, click on this link and download the first. After your download is finished, just unzip the file. I think if you use WinRAR, you need to unzip twice. I'm not sure, but so until you see such a folder, unzip as much as you can until you see such folders and files. Yes.
How do you download from your GitHub?
Just click on the file here. Okay. Okay. While you're downloading this file and unzipping, for Windows users, you need to add some files. I think for Mac user probably don't have to, but these are mostly for. These are, I think it's a Win is, I think it stands for Windows, but most likely Mac user don't. So when you click on this link, you get to the GitHub and you see 7 files here.
Yeah.
So just click one by one like this one. Then you see download button, then download.
And download into that folder, the Hadoop.
Yeah, first download all of them. Then, okay, first download it because it needs some steps. I think if your laptop has Linux or Mac, probably you don't have to have this. Let me just read. Yes.
So are you recording?
Yes. Let me check again. Yes, I'm recording. Could you be able to download Hadoop 3.3? Yeah, I think yes. So hopefully from next class we don't have such installation downloading, so you can easily catch up. But let's see what happens. If I go to my download folder.
Is there any exact location we need to put in, or
First I download it. After that, make a folder on your C drive with the name of Hadoop and paste all of the files that you unzip. So first you download a very large zip file, then you unzip it, and just whenever you see this folder, copy them into C Hadoop. and you may already made a Hadoop folder name. Within this Hadoop, as you see, there's a bin folder. So just open it. And as I said, for Windows users, you need to copy and download and copy paste these 7 files into that folder. So I already gave you this link, this GitHub link. If you click on it, you headed to this page, click on each file and download them. After you downloaded all 7 files, just copy them inside your bin folder. Now, if you as a Windows user can use Hadoop on your system. The last folder that you need to make is data. So inside your C, make an empty data folder. You see, I have a data folder. Just right click, new folder, and just put that name. Okay, in next few steps, we want to let Windows, where did we install Hadoop? So we want to use command prompt and type some commands. If it don't tell where is Hadoop, where is the YARN, Windows cannot find it. For this purpose, in this search bar, just click and type environment. So the first one is edit system environment variables. Click on it. Okay. So you would see these system properties. Again, there's an environment variables button here. Click on it. So as you see, you actually haven't seen it. There's some just addresses here. For example, I have you should have a path variable. One is for your specific user because so many people could use your laptop. So for each of them, you can put some addresses or just make one for all the users. So the bottom one is the system variable, so that you put addresses for every user. The upper one is just for your own user. So we need to put some addresses. One is where is your Java, where is your Hadoop. So what can you do? Press new, type with capital Hadoop underline home, and the address, what is this? Is C slash Hadoop. C. So you remember you made a folder with the name of Hadoop on your C drive. For the Mac users, you also have system variables. So just search how to make environment variables in Mac. So probably you need to have some command prompts. So through your command prompt, you can tell where's your Java, where's your Hadoop. It's basically similar things, but you do it in your terminal. So So after making is that Hadoop home, you need to tell where is your Java address. So again, I type, and just keep in mind, type everything with capital. Java home is the address that you put your Java slash Java JDK. So I told my system that I have a Java installation and Hadoop installation. So no worries if you couldn't follow. So I will put the command. So Hadoop home, Java home. Also, we have a path variable. So let me, where did I put that? Okay. So this is all the paths within your system. If you click on it, so as you see, I put these addresses: C Java JDK bin and C Hadoop bin. C Hadoop bin and C. So what can you do? Again, you can press new and type those two addresses. Again, the addresses are exactly these ones. So in environment variables, two sections. One, you need to define what is your Hadoop home. The second one, your Java home. Also, you have a path variable here. Is that you edit and add C Java JDK bin and C Hadoop bin. We just tell our Windows that, or if you are Mac, using Mac, you're telling them where did you put Java and where did you put Hadoop. Again, Hadoop is running over Java, so your operating system, which is Windows or Mac or Mac OS, should know where it could find those installations. Okay, now we need to run some commands in Windows command prompt. We always try to use as an administrator because I'm not sure, based on the installation of Windows on your system, maybe you need. For some, you don't have to, but let's just use command prompt as an admin. So for this one, in your search bar, just type CMD. If you see such a command, just right click and run as administrator. For many of you, you don't have to, but I just make it as an admin to just be in the safe side. First, I want to check if my WinUtils is working. WinUtils, yeah, it's working. So, huh?
Yeah, it's saying that it's not recognized as internal or external.
I assume you in the environment, your issue should be in the environment variables. After changing, adding those variables, those addresses, you should press OK. Otherwise, it doesn't save. Yeah. So all of the thing that, and also after they should close CMD and open it again. And again, the only purpose of the environment variable is just telling your system where did you put Hadoop and where did you put Java. The next one, you check the version of Hadoop. So Hadoop dash version. So since I already installed it, Hadoop dash version. You see something about Java, but that's fine. Just if you'll be able to install Hadoop. The next, I think for PowerPoints, I go and change some configuration in Hadoop. The reason I want to tell where is my server, where is my data folder, where is my Java, those kind of things. So I already told Windows where is those folders. Now I need to tell Hadoop that there is such a folders. For this one, the first one, as you see, I go to C, Hadoop, etc, Hadoop, and then change course site XML. So I go to Hadoop on drive C, then I go etc, then again I select Hadoop. So as you see, first one, course site XML. Right click, open with, and open with the notepad. Again, the purpose of changing next 4 files, we're just telling Hadoop where Hadoop can find Java, where is my, you might remember I talked about name node and slave node and those kind of node managers. So I just want to tell Hadoop where are they. So again, for that, Hadoop C, Hadoop, etc, Hadoop, and first is course site XML. Right click, open with, and notepad. Okay, between these two, first of all, I already did that. When you just open this file, you don't see anything between configuration. You should probably just see that. So what can you do? You come to PowerPoint, select everything between these two configuration exactly. So here, as you see, I missed a little bit of it. You know, if I just don't copy the last part, it doesn't work. So select all, Control C, open the text file, and change everything between these two configurations, including those configurations. The next file is in Hadoop site C, Hadoop, etc Hadoop, and which I change HDFS site XML. Again, I change everything between configurations. HDFS site XML, right click, open with, notepad. Again, if you're first time, you don't see anything, you just see empty configurations. You just need to select everything here, Control C, Control V. And you do same for map red site XML. Change everything between these two configurations. And the last file is YARN site XML. Again, same address, YARN site XML, right click, open with, notepad, and you change the configurations. Okay, I wait a few minutes to see if you guys have questions, that I go to the next. So far what we did the base for Hadoop ecosystem, then we put Hadoop there, tell Windows and Hadoop where they can find some addresses. Now, Assuming Hadoop ecosystem is similar to operating system, let's say first you get a laptop that doesn't have anything. It just has a hard drive. What should you do? Have you had experiences of installing an OS on a laptop, empty laptop? Pardon me?
It was very long back when.
Okay. So what do you think if you have an empty hard drive? What could be a first step for installing a operating system?
You make the divisions.
Yeah, formatting the hard drive. Yeah, you make divisions. So we do similar here. Now we format our HDFS system. So back here, so basically the first layer is Hadoop distributed file system, or HDFS in short. So we just need to format that space. So we have something similar here. I do HDFS name node dash format. So again, after changing the addresses, we run this command to format our HDFS. Here you can copy and paste from here to your command prompt. Still, let me to wait a little bit. So after formatting your HDFS, now you are able to at least run Hadoop a little bit and see some of it. So the next command is C Hadoop sbin start DFS. So now I start my distributed file system. DFS stands for distributed file system. Let me just copy this. By the way, first you should again copy the HDFS name node format here and format your HDFS. I already did that. Here, after running this command in my command prompt, just copy. So you first, yes?
Yeah. I think there's a problem.
Oh. What now? Oh, I think there's a bug in the Zoom. So what can I do? Thanks for letting me know. So let's see, what can I do?
Screen share, you can just save all screen share.
No, you know, the Zoom is free somehow. So let's see, my God. I think there's kind of cursing. Every time we have some technical problem somewhere.
I think the procedure is not recorded. It's a lot of times like, yeah.
I know. I don't want to close my Zoom because it might be refused to record. Can you see anything in Zoom? Oh my God. Sorry guys, over Zoom we had some, for some reason, every time I discuss, we see some issue. So what about now? Can you see? Okay. Okay, let me run the remaining. So again, as I said, in this step, first you copy and paste this code. Or maybe your friends text me over Telegram. Okay, when you see any issue and I couldn't, okay, at least you can text me over Telegram so I can understand there's an issue. So anyway, copy and paste this code in your command prompt. Then you can format your Hadoop distributed file system. After running that code, now I want to start my file system, distributed file system. So I copy this code, paste it here. So yeah, now, as you see, up here is Hadoop name node, and the second one is data node. Both of them are running. You can see an overview of your Hadoop distributed file system on this address. So let me just copy this address, paste it somehow here. HTTP local host 9870. It just means your distributed file system is active. If you see such a page, means you did everything correctly, and it just, as you see, just have one node. Now we can run our YARN. So this is the complete address to YARN. So Hadoop spin start yarn.cmd. Copy here. Paste. Now my YARN is also running. So with having YARN, I don't have to do all those MapReduce coding by myself. So it just makes my life easier and save my time. Also, you can check your status of your YARN with this address. So let me just copy. As you see, this YARN page is just for showing how many applications you have on top of YARN, because all those applications use MapReduce, but as it is 0 because we haven't installed Pig or Spark or other platform, just file system and YARN on top of that. So you can run the JPS command. So let me see, where is that? Maybe I can type it later, but JPS command just show whatever we have here. So as you see, I have a resource manager. This is for YARN, node manager for YARN. These two are managers. So the YARN, how YARN manage different nodes. For this one installation, we just have one data node and name node because we just want to practice. So, but later, if you work in an institution that they have several name nodes and data nodes, you don't see 1 or 0, you see multiple nodes. So if you type JPS and you see these 5 things, it just means you did everything very correctly. If you cannot install 1 or 2, you don't see them here. Maybe for some of you, if you install different version of Java, maybe you don't see resource manager or name manager or node manager, I mean. So after, if you type JPS and you see all of these 5, it just means you did everything fine. Also, look at here. I have a long address, C, Hadoop, SPIN, start, YARN, CMD. So still I type a whole address because Windows doesn't know where are they. I can put this address inside my environment variable, so I don't have to type completely. What I mean, go to your environment variables, and in the path, just put Hadoop, C Hadoop SPIN. So if you put this folder address here, Hadoop SPIN, you don't have to type all of it, because you already told Windows where should find those programs. Having said that, okay, I did put some troubleshooting. You might have issues because of having different Java installations or problem in Java. Maybe you have to restart your system. Or I told you there is a data folder. So in my C drive, I have a data folder. Just delete everything that is in it, then format it again. So try to do those. Hopefully you won't see any issues. Because today installing another system and it worked perfectly. Having said, I put all the comments. I already put S Hadoop SPIN, so I don't have to put the whole address here. Also, there's a command of stop. Now I can stop it. So stop all. You see, now I have just one command prompt. Now I can start all of them. Start dash all. Or let's just do one by one. So instead of putting C Hadoop SPIN start YARN, I type or start DFS. Start dash DFS. First, I run my distributed file system. Then I can just type start dash YARN. Yeah. Let me just run all of them. So my distributed file system is working. Now I type the start YARN. Now I run my node manager and resource manager. Any questions? I know maybe you have to first install, then have questions. Yeah, so that's okay. I think most likely you don't see any issues, but if you see, that's okay. I mean, This is first time you're experiencing Hadoop ecosystem, so it might be the case. So next assignment, which you have quite, I think you have 2 or 3 weeks, but please start doing from now. Otherwise, don't wait for the due date. I arbitrarily put the due date very late. Do the same thing, just install it, and at the end, just take a picture from this 4. Or you don't have to. Maybe you just type JPS. Because if you type JPS here, just take a picture from this one. It just shows me that you'll be able to have all those. So take a picture. You can either submit a picture or submit to a MS document or PDF. Also, if you go to your next assignment, assignment 5, I said, if you couldn't install Python in virtual environment, you can install it here and show it. So you can substitute this one. So everyone should do the first line. For the people who doesn't like or who couldn't have Python in VirtualBox or in VMware, they can do the second and substitute with the first assignment. Still, the due date is same. So you have, I think you have 1st of October. So by 1st of October, please do both of them. And you can help each other through Telegram too. That's fine. If you have questions, you can ask each other and help each other through Telegram. So any questions from? I know it's not a good question to see if you have a question, but hopefully if anybody, no worries. If you have questions, please ask me through Telegram, email me. By the way, please use university email. Some of you used Gmail or Yahoo. Sometimes it goes to my junk folder. I'm not sure why. So even if I didn't answer your email, please don't wait. Just text me over Telegram. In Telegram, definitely I can see it, and I don't miss it. But again, email is fine. So use email, university email. That's totally fine. Telegram is fine. Other emails should be fine too, but just please try to use university email so it won't go to my junk folder. I think same situation for people over Zoom. They might need a little more time to figure out how to do the 2-day lab. But still, all of you guys have 3 weeks. You can find me through my office hours. If my office hour won't help, just shoot me an email or let me show you. So if you go to, let me just go to email. When I respond to your emails, let me just, here it said, for further discussion, please feel free to schedule a meeting. So if you click on this link, for some reason now it's not working, but let me find another one. Okay, this one. Okay, so this link, you can book a 30-minute meeting and just click on one of these days. Let's say somebody wants to meet me on Thursday. Thursday, let's say 10:30, confirm. Don't put my email. This is my own email. Put your email. So whatever at clarku.edu and just put the reason. But please stick with the office hours. I'm definitely available in my office hours. Otherwise, this could help. Okay, so let's close today's class. I mean, I think the end of time. Again, please try to do it from today. Don't wait for 3 weeks. And if you have questions, just let me know. Thank you very much.